a lot of people think house is a lot of footwork, and that's actually like, that's part of it. I want to say house more. I want to say house when you think more house music. It's a very strong connection to the music. So when you are dancing to house, it's more about the like what you're feeling, what you're like, more than just like, I guess, the moves. Because at least from my experience in the community, at least my experience in every competition or anytime I've been in a club, like think of it like this with house. Like if you're ever in the club, you know, no one's gonna come up to you and be all like, hey, like that's not house, you know, it's weird if like someone came up to you in like a club and just like, hey, the way you're dancing is wrong, you know. So when it comes to like music, like you really want to understand what you're feeling with the music, but also understand how house kind of like where house is coming from, and house came from the clubs. If you want to understand like where that comes, like the actual feeling comes from. For me, I didn't get to understand it until like I turned 21. Before that, I was just basically like going to house sessions, going to battles, and my friends would always be going to the club after like these battles, and I'd be like, that's cool, I'll just dance in the hotel by myself, the house music. But in terms of the culture is very strict too, at least from where every time I've traveled. House dancers I would say you to look up if you ever want to get more into the culture or see other like house dancers. You can look up Khalif, Big Leaf. There is Ejo Wilson. Hold on, I have this all written down. I don't know why I'm not using it. Here we go. So, Brian Green. Brian Green is actually, a lot of his students are here in San Diego. So if you ever wanted to learn house dance and also like get in tune with the music, a lot of his students are actually out here. One of his students actually teaches at Studio Effects. His name is also Brian, but well, they're both BG. But yeah, Brian Green, like that's a house pioneer you want to look up. He used to be here in San Diego a lot more. But yeah, now he's kind of just traveling and like teaching like all over, house OG pioneer things. Let's see. Brian Green, Ejo Wilson, and Shan S. Those are like house dancers I definitely would say look up, mainly because they don't really focus. Well, one, you'll see a lot of how they use footwork, but you'll also realize one of their main focuses with house is not, again, like the footwork, like doing all this crazy stuff. It's really just like taking that feeling you have with house to like, like with your dance and expressing that, like being honest with the music, if that makes sense. Because this is something you'll hear in house culture a lot, is house is a feeling. And it sounds so vague when people say it, like it's like house is a feeling, like what does that even mean? And it's just like, and I'll tell you, like I'll explain what that feeling is. It's if you've ever been outside the club, and you hear the music from outside, and you're just like, oh shoot, yo, that music is bumping. It's that feeling of like, it's like, oh man, right when I get in that club, I'm gonna kill it. I'm just gonna start dancing and stuff. So it's literally like, or if you really want me to like kind of get like break it down even more, if you've ever watched Jersey Shore, you know how everyone like did the fist pump, like it's kind of that feeling too. But instead of doing this, you're using your chest. You're like, yeah, it's a very club-esque, like very clubby dance. So, yeah, let's see. Any questions?
Yeah, from audience, any questions?
Could you elaborate what you mean when you say house is strict or the community? is strict?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, this is more on my personal take. So, but when I say, I think actually this is not even just house. I think this is just any street dance culture. If you were to get into any street dance culture, house is getting a lot more. At least for me, when it was a lot more strict because a lot of people want to teach street styles like house, for example, but the thing is though, not everyone has, again, like a good understanding of the history, the culture, or even like or they don't even like the music, which is the funny part. It's like, how are you going to learn a style and teach a style when you don't even like the music? It's kind of a very interesting, like it's kind of interesting, but that's just like, again, my personal take on how the community can be strict. But in terms of strict, like yeah, it's just basically dance politics. I don't want to get too much into dance politics because dance politics is no different than just actual politics. It's just dancing in front. So for the most part, like if you do want to ever like get into like teaching it, actually like understanding the, like, diving, like spreading it, I would say just dive really like more into the culture, like go to the clubs, meet other house not just dancers, but people who like house music, what's it called? Listen to different genres of house. And then like, yeah. And what's it called? Yeah, because if you go around other house heads, house dancers, they're very, very passionate. So I think that's probably a better word, strict than strict. It's more passionate than it is strict. Like we have a lot of passionate people in the house dance scene who like, yeah, like they really don't want like people like who don't know it like teaching it, mainly because yeah, no one, we just don't want to like have it appropriated and stuff, just a little bit more like on that. But for the most part, that's what I mean by like strict. It's just, if you're gonna do the style, at least know what you're doing. The thing is though, like I said also earlier, you're not gonna no one's gonna go up to you in a club and be like, you're not doing that right, no, like for the most part, I would say, yeah, don't worry about it, but also at the same time, keep that in mind, like, in terms of like, when it comes to the culture, when it comes to like representing the culture, you don't want to like be like misrepresented. But at the same time, if you're just like, you could be like, if you're doing house, you could like, be like, oh yeah, I learned this and I really liked it, and that's how I feel with the music. So yeah.
Yeah, so for people raise their hand, let's go one by one. First, Senda.
It's it's Dominique. I just can't change my name on here. Sorry about that. Oh, you're good. I just wanted to thank Josh for being here. I do have a question about dancing in particular. So as a professional dancer yourself, are there still times where you feel like a little nervous to dance in front of an audience? And if this does happen, what is the best way to like beat that nervousness? Yeah, that's my question.
For sure. Yes, I definitely do, especially like in battles. Battles are scary. Don't get me wrong, like because they're scary in a sense of like, you have to be so super open with yourself, because what you're doing is showcasing yourself to an entire, like, it's the same thing with performing. When you go up there, I would say like it's more of like the psychological, like, oh my God, I'm going up there. What if I mess up? What if I do like, like what if I do this wrong? Or like what if I hurt myself when I do this move? And I think this is something I always tell people. This is not even just for like battling, but like even performing. But when you like, once you get up there, the spotlight is yours, and no one knows, like literally no one knows what you're gonna do except you. So I would say, like, at least for me, I like to rep. So when I rep, my mindset is thinking, yo, this is what I'm gonna, like, everything that made me, like my community, everything, like that's what I'm repping. My family, that's what I'm repping. What's it called? God, that's what I'm repping. you know, so it's just like, think about that more than like, you know, what are you representing within your dance? What are you representing when you showcase yourself to people? And like, you won't even think about like what's gonna make you nervous, or what's it called, you know, it's gonna be more about like, yo, when I get out there, this is just, what's it called, hope, like this is who I am, and hopefully people will accept it. And if they don't accept it, I will also say that's also really whack, because I think it's really whack if you're to like be so honest on stage at a battle, open yourself up, and then everyone just looks at you like, you know, and I've had that happen, and I think it's the wackest feeling. So I think like in terms of like, yeah, when it comes to that, like, don't think so much on, you know, messing up. Don't think so much on like being nervous. Just think about like, you know, what are you gonna like think about like, what are you bringing to the table? What are you representing? What are you doing to show people like, yo, this is my art, and this is what I want to showcase. And this is also like, you know, it also could be, and like if it's personal, you know, I think that definitely should like motivate you to like, you know, like, yo, this is something I definitely want to like show to everyone. But yeah, I think that's how at least I get over my nervousness, because yeah, I do definitely get nervous so much. If you're talking about like right before a show or right before I go up, a lot of breathing techniques. Just breathe, you know, and like shake it off, you know. But for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always super nervous at battles.
Yeah, no, everyone's nervous. Everyone's always nervous. It doesn't matter how professional. I feel like no matter how professional you get, you'll always get nervous. Like that clip of at Vancouver Street Dance Festival, you guys only see one part of the crowd. That crowd is literally the entire city of Vancouver. So it's like really like nerve-wracking. But then think about it like I said, think about it like I went to Vancouver. No one in Vancouver knows who I am, but I'm this kid from the US. And like, you know, no one knows who I am. But like once I get up on that stage, it's like, you know, take charge, be like, yo, I'm about to show you exactly how I get down, especially with this dance culture, especially with, you know, yeah. But that's one way, like I would say, like that's one way to tackle it. But everyone is always going to get nervous, but it's really just a mental thing. Once you can get past the mental part of like, yeah, like I'm going to mess up, and just think about like doing it for yourself and doing it because, you know, you generally like to do it, then yeah, you'll always like, you'll just get like, you'll get better with it. Like, and then, you know, but like I said, everyone always gets nervous, but it's always just tackling that like mental.
Yeah, let's take another question from Anjana.
Hi, thank you for speaking here. I was wondering if there were any criticisms you faced during your dance career and what helped you get over them.
Yeah. So of course, Dominique. Hopefully that helps. But yes, criticism, plenty. I don't want to even dig too like deep into like what I mean by that. But yeah, I think so. I will say this, when it comes to the house dance community, again, this is what I like mean by like it's strict. For me, I was basically like the new kid coming up into the dance scene, and especially like LA is very heavy on house dancers and also just culture in street styles in general. So, you know, me being this kid from like, because I'm originally from Virginia, so, and I moved to San Diego. So me being this random kid from like the East Coast coming like to like, it's like if the new kid comes to the block and ends up being good at everything, you know. Not saying I was good at everything, but I definitely was pissing off a lot of other house dancers, because a lot of the house OGs really liked what I was doing. And, you know, a lot of dancers have a lot of ego and pride, you know, not ego and pride, but, you know, when it comes to art, you know, we're very sensitive about what we create, and it's very personal. So of course, you know, when like someone comes up and you're just like, I worked so hard, and then this new person comes up and they're just barely doing it, like, you know. So I definitely felt that a lot with people in the house community. They were definitely like, you know, I definitely got a lot of criticism about it. But the thing is, though, I think how I got over it was like, I also got to remember, like, you know, we all love this one thing, which is house. We all love this one other thing, which is dance, you know, and the fact that like it brings us together is like probably the best part, you know, because when I really think about it, like I've met so many people I wouldn't have been, like, I would have never thought I would have been friends with if it wasn't for dance, you know, like people I legit didn't think like I wouldn't even made that connection with, but because of like house, because of like dance, that was like what connected me to that person, and it got me to get to know the person and actually like, you know, communicate. So I think that's the thing, like if you ever a really strong way to like get past it is just remember, like there is a community, there is like, you know, you're not the only one who also likes, you know, what you're doing, you know, which is like just dance. Like there are other people who are also just as passionate, and it's also good to like, you know, keep like, you know, be aware and be mindful of those people too, because they obviously want to be in the scene, they obviously want to be in the community. So but yeah, like criticism wise, yeah, like that's mainly what I get. I always get like the whole like, he's the new kid, why is he like, yeah. But you know, but I don't know, it's weird because I also get I get really good feedback from the pioneers. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. But for the most part, if you love what you're doing, yeah, it doesn't really matter who criticizes you. Like, yeah, for the most part, like, yeah, because everyone has their own perspective of what you might be doing, but for the most part, you're the only one who really knows what you're doing and why you do what you do. So that's basically what I have for that.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
Of course.
Next one, Arisa.
Hi, so my question was about some of the more, I guess, like acrobatic like like moves that you do, and I was wondering if you have like a process for trying to nail them, or like I don't know, maybe it just like comes naturally and you can just do it out of the blue, or if sometimes it takes like a lot of practice until you can like really get it down.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so it definitely does take a lot of practice. For me, a lot of the acrobatic moves actually that I learned or like do is mainly just been like watching kung fu movies, which is very funny. Like, you know, if you have, I think like I'm very inspired by like a lot of kung fu movies and like a lot of like how they do acrobatic stuff. When it comes to dance, I feel like you can be inspired by a lot of things. You know, it doesn't like a lot of the acrobatic stuff that I do, like I want to say, for example, the flips that I do in like the rounds that you guys saw, I literally got those just by like, you know, really feeling what I was doing, and then it happens, you know. But I would say this too, if you are going to be doing acrobatics, definitely like, even if you can do it without understanding proper form, I would say definitely go and learn proper form, because, you know, just because you can do a move and everything, it doesn't mean you stray away from the foundation. You know, you want to have the foundations there, so not just like, you know, just to be like, oh, just to know it, but it also is there to like, you know, to even help you from injuries, you know, to help you like prevent those injuries. You know, there's a reason why people do certain moves the way that they do, is because, you know, if you do it a certain way, you could also like hurt yourself, you know. But yeah, like a lot of the acrobatic moves that I do, like it definitely comes from like, again, kung fu movies, and then playing around with it and seeing what I can do. One of the flips that I did, like that I do, I don't even know how to even explain it. It's like an aerial, but it's not but like it's like going back. But everyone knows it when they see it, like, for me, because I always pull it off like at battles. But that flip was like, the way I practiced that flip was I did a show for SeaWorld, and I would always, anytime during the show, that's when I would practice that flip, you know, and sometimes I would nail it, and actually sometimes I wouldn't. I think I only didn't nail it like 3 times, and I definitely like injured my thumb at one point because like, yeah, adrenaline and everything. But I definitely like, I think after like doing that show multiple times, I was able to just get that flip. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, I'll dance and then it just goes, yeah. So when it comes to acrobatics, I would definitely like, if you want to add it to your style, I would say find a way to like, you know, just dance and then find a way to like fit it with how you're feeling the music. Because I definitely have also seen like battles, or I've seen like people dance and they just dance and then they just do a random backflip, and I was like, cool, now what? Or like, that didn't even make sense with the music. Like, okay, cool, like there was a bass drop, but like you did it like before the bass drop, or you did it after the bass drop, you know. It's like, if you're gonna do a backflip, at least make sense with what you're doing. Or if you're gonna do like any acrobatics, make sense of what you're doing, because as impressive as it is, I mean, yeah, like a lot of people can like, it's not an unlearnable thing. Anyone can learn how to do it, you know. So but now it's just like a matter of like, how do you do those moves, like, and how do you fit it with yourself. But yeah, but acrobatics, it's funny because I didn't grow up a gymnast either. Like, I really wish I did though, because I'm definitely suffering a lot from injuries from a lot of the acrobatic stuff that I do. Obviously, like when I'm young, like when I was younger, I didn't feel it, but like, yeah, once you get older, like you'll start feeling it. Like, yeah, I would think like, if you're gonna do acrobatics, don't think about like oh, I can like tough it out now, but think about more of the long run. It's like, yeah, you can handle it now, but like eventually your knees are gonna wear and tear like as the years progress. So you definitely want to take care of that, of your body, especially if you're doing like crazy acrobatics, or if you're doing any type of like power, like that involves a lot of exertion of energy. Because yeah, like, oh, and stretch. Oh my God, stretch, especially when it's this cold, because yeah, I begin muscle tears and I'm pulling off like these flips for no reason. I pulled a flip this weekend. I did a flip this weekend, and I definitely am not feeling the greatest on my back, but I can still dance. But yeah.
Yeah, acrobatic is really difficult, like especially for me. I cannot do that. But,
no,
you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely. Yeah. Oh, good.
Thanks for Arisa, and we will have the last question from Nia Goa.
Hi, thank you for being here. My question is, can you like go more in depth about like your SeaWorld performances? I used to work there, which is pretty, turn off my camera on accident, which is pretty funny. And what are some of the best and worst moments through your like dancing career?
For sure. Can you repeat the first part again? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
You mentioned that you do like performances at SeaWorld, so if you can talk more about that would be cool.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so well, I don't work at SeaWorld anymore. But when I did do shows at SeaWorld, it was basically yeah, it wasn't like anything like super demanding, but it definitely was like it was a good experience just to get like some type of show business, you know, or like understand like, you know, what's it called? Just to perform and also just understand like staging and everything. At least that's what I got from it. For the most part, like yeah, I will say that SeaWorld wasn't my favorite, but I definitely did like it because it I didn't like it, but I did like it because it brought me experience to like, you know, for performing, and also just like choreography and everything. The only reason why I didn't like it personally is because I couldn't like, yeah, I couldn't add any of my usual dance that I do. In fact, I wasn't even really dancing. I was really doing more stunts than I was dancing. So that was the one thing I didn't really like about SeaWorld, was that I felt like I was doing more stunts than I was dancing. And when I did do dance, it wasn't really street style dance, even though they advertised a lot on like street dancers, which was funny because we had a lot of modern and ballet. And I guess they just needed, when they said hip hop or like dancers, they just really meant people who could do stunts. So I was like, oh, okay. But I would say like, yeah, tip for that, read the fine print. But let's see, what was the second half of your question?
Throughout your like dancing career, what was the best and worst moments?
Best and worst moments. Okay, best moment, I would say, I don't want to say it's like the Vancouver Street Dance Festival, but I will say like that was a really great moment that I did like get to enjoy, because yeah, like it was like a whole city, and I got to like basically showcase myself in front of a whole city. And also like win or lose, like it was one of those things where like, yeah, like a lot of like people in that, like who just saw me like now know like who I am, you know, not even just know who I am, but like it was also just like I got to again like showcase myself, and I got to like, you know, just be myself without feeling like, you know, like I was weird, like because everyone definitely was messing with like what I was doing. So I think that was why like it was a really great moment for me, one of my best moments, because I could really just be myself, and everyone like was just vibing with it. So worst moments, it's actually at SeaWorld, surprisingly. So one of the at SeaWorld, I think one of my worst moments was actually like I actually passed like one of the stunts that I did, I actually fell, and like I actually passed, like when I did my flip, I didn't land it, and I kind of knocked out, and like I guess they had to stop the whole show, and like yeah, it was just a very, very bad moment. And it was just like, oh no, like they had to stop the whole show. And then I didn't want to go to the hospital or like anything, because it was just like, you know, no one wants to go to like, yeah. But yeah, I think that was probably my worst moment. Like it was just like, yeah, not landing my flip, but not just not landing my flip, but also just like KOing and then waking up like, what happened? You know, but I would say like that was probably my worst. That was like the worst thing ever for the most part. But
yeah, that's all. Like give a big thanks to Jay Fanci, and yeah, we have 2 minutes left. I think we can get into some house moves now.
Oh,
you ready?
For sure.
Yeah. Let's get some house dance. Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, you can. I think people can turn on your camera if you want to. Like, no, it's good.
Okay, house. So, all right. Can you guys see me? Is this fine? Yes. Can I? Okay. All right. Cool. So for house, like I said, everyone wants to do like, you know, footwork, but before you get to like all this footwork, notice how like this part of my body is still like, you know, there's still a dance right here. So the first thing I always stress to everyone, especially when you're first learning house, is to get your jack. So the jack is mainly just like a mix of your bounce, your groove, you know, kind of like the same thing with like hip hop, where it's like, you know, it's a bounce and rock, but instead of, you know, what's it called, this hip hop groove, it's more of this smooth jack. Yeah. So we're gonna do the jack. I'm gonna teach you this, and then once you get this jack, you basically know how to house. for the most part. And then it's just learning how to layer the footwork on top of that jack. Yeah. So for a jack, you want to use your knees and you just want to dip. Yeah. So once you get that dip, yeah, like you want to like if you want to bring that dip to even deep, like an even deeper like dip. So what you want to do is drop your hips. So this is just dipping, and then when you want to drop your hips, it goes. Yeah. So the difference is this is this is just using your knees. Yeah, just to bounce. Once you get that bounce, what you want to do is drop your hips so you can basically scoop your butt up to like make this like jack feel. So, you know, when it's not like when it's it's just basically go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that's also another thing I'm going to talk about, counts. So easy counts, 1s and 2s. That's basically what we're mainly gonna like we're gonna play with, especially with the jack. So just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Eventually, like you're gonna want to dip, so it'll be like 1, 2. Actually, we'll play with 4 counts too. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So 2 dips. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And you go 1, 2, 3, and on 4 you're gonna dip your hips. So 4. Yeah. Yeah. Let's try that. So 2 counts of just bouncing, and then on the 4 count, dip. Yeah. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Let's just do 4 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Are we good? Let's try that with music. Hold on. Give me a second. Here we go. All right. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 2. Just do a dip. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. 5, 6, 5. Try to find myself. Give me a sec. I'm like listening to music. All right, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. A. 1, 2. Don't be afraid to use up like upper body stuff. 4, 2. Yeah. All right. Hey, cool. For the most part, yeah, that's your jack. If you want to do your jack, like if you want to do even more, like, so you don't always have to do the dip like this. You can literally just do this the whole time too. However, like it does create a lot more, you got to use more energy when you do that, which is why like it's easier just to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Use your dips, drop, like when you want to drop your hips, you know, I feel like, well, I drop my hips mainly on more of the base. That's why I like using it. So I like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. All right, cool. Let me show like differentiate the front and back jack real quick. So because we're doing back jack. So there's back jack, which is this, and then there's front jack, which is going scooping your hips to the front. Yeah. So I would say for that, yeah, it's the same thing as going back, but instead you're just going front now. Yeah. One way to think of it, like think of it like there's like a pencil on your hip and you're doing like a circle. Yeah. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. And then when you feel like you have that motion, you can just go for it and you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Hey, get it. I see y'all. All right. Cool. Now, footwork. I don't want to get too again crazy into like I don't want to do anything super complicated with footwork. So I think for this, we're just gonna do a basic pas de bourrée. So we're just gonna go step out, step back here, and then step back out. Yeah. Let's do that again. Angle this way. Oh. So I'm trying to think of like mirror me, I guess. So step out, step in, step out, and then step out with you, my right foot, or it would be your left foot. Again, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. A little faster. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now, all in one motion, this is what it looks like. 1, 2, and 3. That's on 3. Sorry. If you want to do it slow, it could be on 4. But if you want to do it fast like me, I do it like 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Let's do the other side. So same thing. We'll do slow. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. One more time, and then we'll try connecting. Here we go. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. And now to connect it, you're basically gonna go. So we'll start on this side, and then we'll go connect it to this side. So you're gonna go step out, step in, step out, and then step out. And so this foot's already planning you to go back, front, front, back, front, 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 back, front, front. Yeah. So all in one motion, this is what it'll look like. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, step back, 1, step back, 1, step back, 1. Hey. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Yeah? All right. So now we're gonna combine the jack with the pas de bourrée. So again, I would say for this, you don't need to do, you know, the full hip. But if you end up feeling that way, feel free. You know, I don't want to tell you how to feel. That's all on you. But for the most part, if you like, for this, we're just gonna use a lot more of your bounce. Yeah. So get your bounce. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So with this bounce, you want to focus, yeah, your knees, but then also your body. So think for your groove, to use your groove more, it's actually using your chest more. So you could just be like out, in, but it doesn't have to be big, obviously. I mean, if you want to make it big, again, I'm not going to tell you not to. If that's how you feel, you could be like, if you really want. But for this, we're just going to be like 1. Yeah. See how my chest just goes out with my knees going down. Yeah, cool. Now that we have this, you're gonna add the step. You're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. You see how with every step there's a bounce. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Ah, my bad. Stop. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3. It's 2 and 3. My bad. Sorry, I'm mixing up my counts a lot. I do a lot of freestyle with this, so it's really just like a lot of the counts that I do always changes up. But for this, we're just gonna do 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Yeah, we're just gonna do 1 and 2. Yeah. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2. Whew, I'm messing up. Let me get my count first. Give me a second. 2 and... Okay, I'm leading with my left. All right, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2. 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 Hey. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1 and 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 2. Hey. So the main reason for this is like you can use this to travel with your dance. So you could be like, yeah. You could even like change directions. You can be like, front, back, side, side,